Get! Oh, you fuckers. Yeah, I'm yelling at European starlings. They're a fucking menace. Fucking ignorant shit.
Fraud moves fast. Rapidify moves faster. Powered by AI-infused technology, Peraton's Rapid Fraud Intelligence helps government customers outpace fraud schemes while saving billions of dollars each year. Learn more at Peraton.com/fraud.
At Metro Flooring, you always get more, like more rooms of carpet and more savings with this great deal. For a limited time, you can get 3 rooms of carpet for just $7.99. See all the ways you can get more for your money at MetroFlooringContractors.com.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
Jamie Whitten in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Chevy Chase, serious crashes on the southbound side of Connecticut Avenue just after East-West Highway. Police were directing everyone onto East-West Highway. Secondary crashes on the westbound side of 410 as you come up to the intersection of Connecticut Avenue. Leaving the Beltway, taking southbound 355 will save you some time. Between Northwest and Silver Spring, we still have 16th Street a mess with the closure north of Military Road where traffic is being diverted. Serious crash under investigation. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Cool, wet, and breezy for your Wednesday. Temperatures hovering around 60 degrees. We're also going to have waves of rain, maybe some pockets of moderate rain that could lead to some isolated flooding. Showers continue overnight with patchy fog. Still a little unsettled tomorrow with showers and storms, but we dry out Friday. I'm 7 News DC's Eileen Whalen.
57 right now at Reagan National. John Matthews News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
Should anonymous sources who talked to Tapper have spoken up about their concerns while he was in office, while he was still in office? And my other question is, why is this important to know now? Yeah. It just seems to me, you know, we got a lot of stuff to be concerned about at the moment.
Yeah, least of all you. That's the ironically named Whoopi Goldberg of ABC News. She's on their payroll. Why do we need to know now? She wants the cover-up to continue. Filthy that she is. She's one of the filthies from way back. She's Whoopi Goldberg. Her real name is Karen Johnson. She thought if she became Jewish, it might help her in show business. Hey, now my name's Goldberg. Anything? Got anything for... I know I'm a miserable, wretched lunatic, but if I called myself Whoopi, would I appear to be a happy person for just a moment, even though it's completely fraudulent? Well, a very good Wednesday, too. That is Hump Day in the Clinton household, of course, and it's Mail Day. It's Mailbag Day here, and I have my Michael Piercy just delivered me my mailbag questions. I have them in my hand right here. You can hear them on the radio. But, of course, in the Clinton household, it's another day of Hillary Clinton waking up face down in a pool of her own dried vomit on a linoleum kitchen floor in a multi-million-dollar mansion. with the Secret Service standing over her, their knuckles on their hips, shaking their heads, tisk, tisk. What might have been, but thankfully was not. Isn't that remarkable? She's a tragic story, a sad story. Back in 2016, I declared that Hillary Clinton would never win, that she couldn't win the presidency, that Donald Trump would win, because her story is a tragedy, a little bit of a comedy. There's some comedy in there. Get back to the old Greek stuff, but I laugh at her, but only at my cruelest moments, because she's a sad and pathetic person, a tragic person, very, very tragic. But we've got a great deal of news for you once again, because so many things. Here's one, for example. Hunter Biden breaks his silence on Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper he's the biggest author in the world. He's as big an author as Hunter Biden is an artist. You know, Hunter Biden selling his paintings for more than you spend less buying a Picasso, an actual legitimate Picasso. In many instances, I shared the dollar figures with you in the past. And now Jake Tapper, he's going to sell maybe not as many copies as the Bible, but maybe the Koran. Maybe the Koran. Got that going. But Hunter Biden breaks his silence on Jake Tapper. And this guy, Alex Thompson, who apparently actually wrote the book, and then no publisher would take it. None of the publishers.
Yeah, here you are.
By Alex Thompson.
You block me and then you come here. What a punk.
I don't know if that's the original. I think
you and Andy need to get married. Oh, you already are.
Got that? And then Alex Thompson, no fool is he went to Jake Tapper and said, hey, nobody wants my book. Maybe if I put your sleazy, untrustworthy name on it, a publishing house will want it. And sure enough, in the corrupt media universe that we exist in today in the United States of America, that worked. And now we've got Hunter Biden himself coming out, and he's got an opinion, and it's got nothing to do with paintings. Nothing to do with paintings. But we have that going for us. So that's kind of a fun item. And Jake Tapper, he's all over the media. He made a big mistake going on with Megyn Kelly, with the wonderful Megyn Kelly. I used to go on Megyn Kelly's television show, and she was on the Fox News channel. My best girl, she likes the Megyn Kelly podcast very much. And I've always liked Megyn Kelly very much. And she had the Jake Mobile Tapper on, and she asked him a question or two, the kinds that everybody should ask, but nobody does, because they're not journalists. They're left-wing party hacks, Democrat Party hacks. And remember, the Democratic Party isn't. Friendly fire isn't. Common courtesy isn't. And the Democratic Party isn't. And certainly Jake Tapper, former Democrat Party Capitol Hill staffer, he's no journalist. But there's lots of stuff in that.
I'm my own administrator. You don't stand a chance, patty cakes. You fucking piss pot motherfucker.
They're engaged not only in the ongoing cover-up of the Biden family corruption and
piss pot Pat. There's you, there's Patrick Callahan, and there's Patrick New York.
Because the news media cover-up is now
all
key
piss
to
pots.
the ongoing propaganda machine that is the Democrat Party, most important organ on the body politic of the Democrat Party is not just their engorged appendage, but the news media, which, let's face it, is the engorged appendage, I think. That's great stuff. Jake Tapper absolutely buries sleazy and unethical Hunter Biden, questions why he had so much power. Now Jake Tapper is revealing, it's like Hunter Biden, the crackhead kicked out of the Navy for being a junkie, and he's smoking crack with Marion Barry, and said, it turns out Hunter Biden was running the White House, and who was running the auto pen, because we still don't know who was president while Joe Biden was living in the White House. And that heck of a doctor, he's got a heck of a doctor for wife, Dr. Jill Biden, also known as not a doctor, Jill Biden. But Jake Tapper's like, oh gosh, I'm going to have to reveal now everything I knew all along and that I lied to about for years, and now you should believe me, because I'm not lying anymore. That's kind of the thing. It's not the truth, but they have very low regard for the truth. So we've got that. Jake Tapper reveals blunt message to hold staff. And it's when during the debate, and this is when he's on with Megyn Kelly. Joe Biden really did badly. Then he went on TV and lied to the dozens of people that were watching him on CNN. But Megyn Kelly holds Jake Tapper's feet to the fire. You seem to be running cover for the president, she began. Yeah, thank you. If you've been listening to this show for the last 5 years, you were getting the truth the whole time. The unvarnished truth in many instances, but who likes truth varnished anyway? I like unvarnished truth. I'll take a little bit of not just the finishing sandpaper, but the rough sandpaper to it. I don't like my truth to be varnished. Our news media, on the other hand, gang of sexual deviant sleazoids that they are. I think many of them transgender. Oh, yeah, but the Democrats have more transgender stuff today too. In Maine and beyond, they're just completely insane. And you know the Council on American Islamic Relations. Are you familiar with them? They have one of the heads of CARE. They call it CARE. That's an irony, calling it CARE. They care to wipe Israel off the map and kill all the Jews, for one thing, and destroy America. CARE leader, who serves on California's state civil rights panel, cheers Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis and says, because he hates Trump too, says Trump's time will come. This is another guy, if he's got a visa. If he's here on a visa, he's not probably, but if he's here on a visa, he should be catapulted into the Pacific Ocean in a great ball of fire. But that's your Council on American Islamic Relations, which the news media treats like they're, the Vatican. They treat them better than the Vatican because they're contemptuous of the Vatican, of course. Oh, speaking of which, in Florida, the Democrats, I was going back and forth with my friend Tom in Florida, old high school pal, and he sent me a story out of the Florida newspapers, pretty amazing stuff, that the Democrats are pushing Satan again. They got in schools. You got to have the Satan posters in schools because they're, Democrats are around. Quite amazing stuff. And you know how they love the jihad and the Democrat Party? They call everybody Nazis and then they want to exterminate the Jews. No sense of irony, these people. But I played for you day before yesterday, the woman at the George Washington University in Washington, D.C., perhaps the most expensive college in the United States of America, at the commencement address. And she was up there railing against the Jews and all this madness. Well, the George Washington University has banned that lunatic student from campus over her anti-Israel, anti-Semite rant at the graduation, at the commencement there. Her name, you may remember, is Cecilia Culver, and she should never be hired by anyone except maybe the American Fascist Party.
These atrocities cause us to take stock in our own complacency in the imperialist system.
Yeah, the complacent our imperialist system. Listen to what they've done to these people. She should, her parents should demand she didn't pay her own way through school. I hope she has $400,000 in college debt and that she never gets a job. That would be appropriate. That'd be just desserts, wouldn't it?
I am ashamed to know my tuition is being used to fund this genocide.
And the crowd goes wild. Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles. Yeah, there was a great moment on Capitol Hill yesterday, too, with Chris Van Hollen, who loves gangsters from El Salvador and hates women from his home state of Maryland, who he thinks should all be murdered by tattooed, non-English speaking gang members, which happens more than I'd like, but not as much as Senator Chris Van Hollen would apparently like. And he was on Capitol Hill in a hearing yesterday with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who's doing great. And Marco Rubio had to slap him around like a little B-word because he's got a tiny little squirrel brain, but he's a vicious, corrupt, racist, anti-Semite. And, he's a Democrat. And speaking of graduations and hating everybody, Columbia University, they've got a new interim president, woman I used to work with, Claire Shipman. She was at CNN and then ABC News and all that. She's now the acting president of Columbia because they had to force the last president of Columbia out because I think she was a Nazi or something, wasn't she? And they forced her out. But they were chanting Free Mahmoud, who's a jihadi who's here to destroy Western civilization. And at Columbia University, an Ivy League institution where Barack Obama went to school, they're chanting Free the jihadis and, snuff out the Jews. The Democrat Party has done this to the United States of America. Just amazing. And again, I mentioned Maine, the state of Maine, the wonderful, beautiful state of Maine that the left is whizzing all over every day and choking to death. Maine, I've told you about this woman, a state representative who is against men stealing women's trophies in sports. And the Democrats will, burn the Jewish governor's house down with Molotov cocktails. And then they'll stand up for the dude who doesn't look like a lady at all, stealing trophies from high school track star young women and college track star young women, because the Democrats are on the wrong side of everything. Well, Maine lawmaker, wonderful, reacts to Supreme Court decision amid trans athlete fight. They shouldn't use trans. Trans is not what we're talking about. Transgender, trans-mental, trans-psychological. But trans is a prefix, and it's not a standalone word, and it doesn't refer exclusively and only to, which is redundant and repetitive and unnecessarily duplicative. But it doesn't just mean that you have severed your genitalia and put it in a mayonnaise jar and left it on Funkin' Wagnall's front porch since noon today. Speaking of Andrew Cuomo, he's now being investigated. The grandma killer Democrat governor of the state of New York. And his brother is Fredo Cuomo, the fake news guy, who isn't he like a groper? Aren't they all gropers? I think their father was not a groper, Mario Cuomo, as far as I know. He had been governor too, and they passed it on like we live in Haiti. And it's, Papa Doc Cuomo and Baby Doc Cuomo and then Fredo Cuomo. But the Justice Department is now investigating Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of New York, over his congressional testimony where he, like pretty much every Democrat testifying before Congress, he lied under oath repeatedly. And they figure that's no big deal. Not a thing at all. Yes, sir. And our news media, they continue to dazzle as well. The Chicago Sun-Times in Chicago, Illinois, accused of using artificial intelligence, AI, to create a reading list of books that don't exist. But AI did it, so they can just blame AI. What's the big deal there? And speaking of Ukraine, who's speaking of Ukraine? A big development here, because, we're funding Ukraine and Volodymyr Zelensky with tens and tens of billions of dollars. And here, have some F-16s, which you'll never fly, and have this and have that. We'll have everything for you. Well, there was an assassination in Spain, in the Allied power, the Allied nation of Spain. And there's an American school there in Spain. A Ukrainian official, advisor to the former president, Yanukovych, you may remember, shot dead, assassinated outside of an American school in Spain. And it looks like, well, let me just say that this guy that was gunned down in an obvious assassination in Spain, Andrei Portnov, gunned down, 51 years old. Maybe he's a CEO with a healthcare company or something, and the Democrats want him dead. The Democrat Party kills, and then illegal aliens mop it up for them. It's another reason they like illegal aliens. But this Andrei Portnov, 51 years old, gunned down in Spain, 9:15 a.m. in front of the American school. Turns out this guy is an enemy of Joe Biden's ally, of the Democrat Party's ally, of Americans' ally. All right? The recipient of our largesse in Ukraine, and it looks like our buddy there, Zelensky, is gunning down his political enemies, or having them gunned down. Wouldn't do it himself. They would know him by his black T-shirt. So we're at 888-630-9625.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center in Northwest. The crash is reported on 14th Street between Independence and Constitution Avenues. Chevy Chase serious crash southbound Connecticut Avenue just south of 410 East-West Highway. All traffic being diverted onto East-West Highway. Over to 355, still your better option. Heavy rush hour delays continue around the Beltway. 16th Street closed north of Military Road in each direction for crash investigation. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Mark 7 forecast.
Periods of rain today, breezy and cool with the high of 58. Scattered showers tonight, low 53.
We are the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. Cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Hi, I'm Vince Colonnese, host of The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. I'll give you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories. The Vince Show is redefining news talk with in-depth interviews, live caller interactions, and a front row seat to the most important conversations of the day, every day. The Vince Show and Vince Podcast.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. See, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
A new Gallup poll finds that fewer people are eating in a way they consider healthy. And what's more, they're not necessarily enjoying their food. Aside from being a total bummer, this is a problem because food satisfaction is linked to overall satisfaction. The principal researcher at Gallup told us this: people who feel good about their food also usually feel good about other aspects of their life. Well, dietitian Natalie Macari says, yes, it is important to consider all the nutrients you need in a meal, for sure. But determining whether you need a drizzle of sauce on top to make it enjoyable, that also matters. For most people, the satisfaction factor goes down if they are distracted while eating. So put down the phone and focus on your food. Something as simple as a device-free dinner with my family, they're the best parts of my day. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
I was choosing alcohol over my family. That's when I made the call. Now I'm finding better ways to cope.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Making sense of the headlines, making sense of your world. WMAL's Vince Colonnese.
Thank you for all you do on the radio show.
What a nice call. Thank you very much.
Weekdays noon to 3. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS. SIDS? You know, sudden infant death syndrome. Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nicehd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
Making sense of the media.
The news media is attacking them because this is what happens when you're a Republican.
Chris Plant, weekdays 9 to noon.
Yeah, our news media, really.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. Making sense of the border.
Homeland security is right there at the tippy top of American concerns.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon.
You've got to be tough.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. So, WMAL, making sense of world events, because those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Hi, Michael. Let's go to the telephones and talk to the nice American people on our American telephones, which are here thanks to the patriarchy. We should take away Hillary Clinton's telephone privileges and her electricity and her health care. granted her by the patriarchy, which she's still complaining about from one of her many multi-million-dollar mansions after flying private to get there. What an expletive deleted she is. All right, let's go to the telephones, Mike. Let's go to Jason, calling from Kensington, Maryland. Jason, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, g'day, Chris. I'm actually coming to you from the crashing waves of Fort Macon, North Carolina.
No kidding. That's better.
Yeah, it's terrific, man. I couldn't get any surf in today, so I decided to go look at the big gun turrets out there at the beach that they constructed back in the day, and there was a sort of a big standoff between the Union and the Confederates here years ago. It's pretty impressive building, actually.
Yeah, and, sure. We had the Democrats were causing problems back then, too.
Yeah, I took a stroll along the beach, and lo and behold, I saw my name there etched in shells on the beach. So I took a picture of it.
So that's good. You should send that along, yeah.
It's amazing. Like this Comey thing is just so ridiculous. I mean, you imagine if it was the Republicans that be marched out in leg shackles, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, I mean, look at those guys like that were arrested early hours and put in leg shackles.
Peter Navarro. That was Peter Navarro. Yeah, an attorney. The Democrats put him in leg shackles because they're medievalists.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. He should. Comey should get a pre-dawn raid. The FBI drag him out in leg shackles and cuffs, throw him in the back of a meat wagon. Comey, who's 6'8". 6'8" is James Comey, and you know what got 86th was James Comey's credibility. His credibility is somewhere in the zone of Jake Tapper's credibility. That coming up, and Satan Class.
This is the Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Chevy Chase will still have crash activity on southbound Connecticut Avenue, south of East West Highway. You're under police direction initially. They had been diverting all traffic there. It's southbound 355 leaving the Beltway. Definitely a better option for you. Late rush hour for many with this rain and road spray. Accident northwest on 14th Street between Independence and Constitution Avenues. 16th Street remains closed north of Military Road. Crash under investigation there. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Periods of rain today, breezy and cool with the high of 58. Scattered showers tonight, low 53.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Actor Michael Rosenbaum, he knows some of the most talented people in the business.
No weakness here. I'm getting ready to do this podcast. I text my Star Trek family. That is a supernatural impulse. If you're here for Jay Moore, you found the right place. Have you always had a large personality? The nicest way anybody's ever put it. You always warn people out. From Twilight, Ashley Green.
We were just like, no one's going to see this. This is not going to be a good movie.
I really love the movie.
Don't feel bad.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Making sense of your world.
Common sense. Let's get back to common sense.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon.
Now that should give you a lot of cause for hope.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
Around the clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this stuff is going on behind the scenes and you don't know about it.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Making sense of the headlines, making sense of your world. WMAL's Vince Colonnese.
Thank you for all you do on the radio show.
What a nice call. Thank you very much.
Weekdays noon to 3. News Talk 105.9. WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of the border.
Homeland security is right there at the tippy top of American concerns.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese. Weekdays at noon.
You gotta be tough.
News Talk 105.9. WMAL. Making sense of the news.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Be the first to hear what everyone's talking about.
The Grammys,
the election,
entertainment. I don't even know what this show is, but because it's blowing up on my feed, I have to know. Did you watch the game though?
It's the Cumulus Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know, all without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected. Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, will you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. WMAL. More than just politics, because laughter is the best medicine. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Now, you all know how the Democrats love Satan and they worship Satan and they wish that there was someone here on earth to crucify because they're a violent mob of bloodthirsty, murderous rebel. You know that, right? Everybody knows that at this point. My friend Tom in Florida sent me a great story. I went and found the original story today from the Florida Today, which is the USA Today Gannett paper out of Florida, right? And the headline is, founder of Church of Satanology requests banners be hung at 5 Brevard high schools. That's Brevard County in Florida. A former Palm Bay resident, now an activist and founder of the Church of Satanology and Perpetual Soiree, it's the Church of Satanology and Perpetual Soiree, has requested, nay, demanded, that the Brevard County Public Schools display banners for his religious, and he loves his Satan thing, in 5 high schools. In an email sent on May 19th to Brevard's school board and superintendent, Mark Rendell, Timothy Chaz Stevens, his name is Timothy Stevens and he goes by Chaz, requested that banners for Satanology be placed at Vieira High School, Melbourne High School, Heritage High School, Palm Bay Magnet High School, got to get the smart kids, and Rockledge High School. Stevens, a Florida Tech graduate who now resides in Boca Raton, which translates to the mouth of the rat, said a current religious banner at Palm Bay High clearly establishes a precedent for religious expression within Brevard County schools. See, somebody is a Christian and he can't sleep at night knowing that somebody is aware of the existence of God. So he comes out to worship Satan and to inflict Satan
on, the still forming minds of high school kids in Brevard County, Florida. Brevard Public Schools did not confirm if such a banner exists. Well, he can make them up. They got, some of their Democrat banner making shops where you see them make them all the time for, kill the Jews, love Hamas, the Democrat Party stuff. Love Tren de Aragua, love MS-13, hate the police. They have banners for everything. Their banners pop up like that, don't they? All over the place. And he says, given my successful track record and familiarity in filing and litigating pro se cases of this magnitude, including the ongoing case against the Brevard School Board, I am fully prepared to advocate vigorously for constitutional compliance in Brevard County. He wrote, because, Satan, he worships Satan, and he's a Democrat. He voted for Kamala Harris, and he voted for Joe Biden, and he voted for Hillary Clinton, and he voted for Barack Obama, and he voted for Satan because he worships Satan. And when you're a Democrat, Satan is your guide, dog is your co-pilot, and they harvest the organs of hundreds of thousands of unborn babies every year. And they're not on the side of human life. They're not on the side of freedom. They're on the side of Satan, though. I think it could be Satan. And again, I mentioned in passing, and that's part of the Democrats' program is, they have after-school Satan clubs all across America in schools, and the Democrats love Satan, after-school Satan clubs. The reason I say they're Democrats is because, first look at Chuck Schumer. Let's start with that. Then look at the practices implemented by Barack Hussein Obama, and things like that. But the after-school Satan Club has been going on for years, and the Washington Post has written about it glowingly in the past. They love the after-school Satan Club stuff. They think it's great. That's when they stand up for First Amendment rights and for free speech, when they're defending Satan and Satan worshipers.
God is dead.
That's a Rosemary's Baby moment. They love Rosemary's Baby. I think that Hollywood, it was an early clue, I think. But they're doing this all over the country, and they love Satan and MS-13 and Tren de Aragua and Hamas and Planned Parenthood. The Democrat Party in the 21st century. They're truly something. And speaking of gunning people down, I was reminded of the healthcare executive that was gunned down by their hero, one of their many killer heroes. They just love these heroes, Luigi Mangione, right? And Luigi Mangione is a hero of the Democrat Party. He gunned down a 52-year-old father of two, a husband, a CEO who had lived an ideal life. And then he was gunned down by Luigi Mangione, and the Democrats all want their daughters to date Luigi Mangione, not the murdered CEO, but they love the murderer because, that's who they are. But he murdered Brian Thompson December 4th of last year on a sidewalk in New York, and Luigi Mangione became an instant celebrity in Democrat circles, and all their daughters want to oil him up and date him. It's a pretty amazing Democrat Party. We have Brian Thompson, CEO, United Healthcare, gunned down for no reason at all, except, insurance is bad, healthcare is bad, but I thought the Democrats fixed healthcare about 20 minutes ago. Isn't that amazing? But now we've got another example. And watch the news media not cover this story, because this is a pretty amazing story for a number of reasons. Former aide to Ukraine's pro-Russian ex-president Yanukovych shot dead outside American school in Madrid, Spain. What? How could that be? What's that? You mean guys walked up and gunned him down just like Luigi Mangione did to Brian Thompson? Yes, that's what I mean. And it turns out the man he was named. Now he's dead because he was gunned down this morning in Madrid, Spain, in front of the American school by at least two gunmen. Andrei Portnov, a former advisor to Ukraine's pro-Russian former president, Viktor Yanukovych. Joe Biden was involved with all that, too. was shot dead outside an elite American school in Madrid, Spain. The former Ukrainian politician, Andrei Portnov, shot dead on Wednesday morning outside a U.S. school in a wealthy suburb of Madrid. Spanish authorities said police received a call about the shooting at the American School of Madrid in the Pozuelo area, whatever, at 9:15 a.m., and they rushed to the scene, according to Spain's Interior Ministry. And then a radio station there, Cadena Ser, S-E-R, said the 52-year-old, what a coincidence, was taking his children to school when he was shot several times. El Mundo newspaper said no one else was injured. Witnesses reported that Portnov was shot several times in the head and body by more than one gunman when he was getting into a vehicle, according to Spanish police. The assailants, plural, then fled on foot to a nearby wooded area. They always like wooded areas out there. Portnov was a senior aide to Ukraine's former pro-Russian president, Viktor Yanukovych, who notoriously withdrew from signing the Ukrainian Association Agreement with the European Union, sparking a bloody they're calling a Euro-Maiden protest in 2013 and 2014. During Yanukovych's presidency, Portnov was widely viewed as a pro-Kremlin figure and was involved in drafting legislation aimed at persecuting participants in the 2014 revolution in Ukraine, because, it's like that. So now his friends are Vladimir Putin and Viktor Yanukovych, the former president of Ukraine. And what were Joe Biden's ties to Yanukovych and to and what was Joe Biden's role in all of this, and the Democrat Party's role in all of this, and who has been taking in millions of dollars from Ukraine, in addition to Hunter Biden and the Biden family, millions from Ukraine. But after Yanukovych fled Ukraine for Russia in February 2014, following months of unrest, that ended in scores of protesters killed by his forces in Kiev, which is not pronounced Kiev. Portnov was placed several sanctions lists. He was sanctioned by the West, including by the EU and Canada, for his actions and a part of the administration. Now, who had him killed today? Well, the assumption is that it's not Putin and the Russians, and it's not the Yanukovych people, but it is, of course, the Volodymyr Zelensky people. So the guy that we have been funneling tens of billions of dollars to, having political rivals, political enemies assassinated in NATO countries like Spain, outside of the American school, when gunmen come up and shoot him in the head, kind of like their hero Luigi Mangione did to Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. The Democrat Party, and they're part of the worldwide left. Make no mistake about that. And it's absolute madness what the Democrats are doing.
Like, here's this man who's a revolutionary, who's famous, who's handsome, who's young, who's smart. He's a person that seems this morally good man, which is hard to find.
Yes, Taylor Lorenz on Luigi Mangione. They all want to date Luigi Mangione. They want to oil him up and shave him, and they want to take him home. They love the murder. They love the bloodiness, because they're not liberals. They're the left. Aren't they amazing? These people in the United States, we call them Democrats. They're the left. And again, never use red state, blue state, and red party, blue party. They are the red party. They are so red. They are the Soviet Union. They're the party of Bernie Sanders. They're the party of, honestly, of commies everywhere. They're so close to being Putin. Putin, we criticize Putin for having people murdered in apartment buildings in Moscow, and we should criticize him for having people murdered, including reporters in apartment buildings in Moscow and elsewhere. Some go off rooftops and out windows, which is an old KGB thing. And Putin's an old KGB guy, of course. And he's a warmongering murderer, Putin, because he's a commie. And that's what commies do, just by the way, in case you lost track. So the Democrats today, where are we now? Murder, Satan, assassination, and the Democrats, not on our side. Definitely not on our side. And they love transgenderism. They love men stealing trophies from women, boys stealing trophies from girls while pretending to be women. And at college campuses, they're shouting down Israel and punishing Israel, want to punish Israel, and reward Hamas, which is a genocidal, anti-Semitic death cult drenched in the blood of innocents that they kidnapped, raped, and murdered. And after holding hostage, of course, they're still holding dead bodies hostage. And campuses across America, because of the Democrat Party, 100% because the Democrat Party, are cheering Hamas and condemning the Jews. And then they call everybody Nazis. Aren't they amazing? They use the words, but they don't know what they mean. Speaking of Jake Tapper, his book is making the rounds. And boy, is it getting a lot of play. Nobody should buy it. And it's just another lie. And it's not even Jake Tapper's book. Alex Thompson had the book, went to Jake Tapper, said, no publishing houses want my book. Will you help me get a publishing house? And so he did. And now he's on TV talking about, why isn't Alex Thompson doing all the interviews on TV? Crazy. Let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go to Ivan. Let's go to Ivan, calling from Miramar Beach, Florida. Ivan, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, good morning, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. What do you know?
Hey, Chris, I got a comment and two quick questions, if I could. I'll be quick. One on Jake Tapper's book. To me, this is an absolution book. But to me, the Democrats' agenda has not changed, and they're not going to expose everything. And I don't believe for a moment that we're getting the whole truth from Jake Tapper, but just a convenient truth. And I believe that there's lots and lots that we don't know that we maybe will never find out. But I think that's just a tip of the iceberg, was what he's reporting. My two quick questions for you, Chris. I'm sorry. We've complained about Obamacare for over a decade, Chris.
Yeah.
And now that we have the White House and both houses, you hear crickets about Obamacare.
Yeah.
The first question is, are we stuck with Obamacare? And then the question number two is real quick, is that are we stuck? I love President Trump. I trust President Trump, but it seems like we're waiting for the courts to imprimatur, regarding illegal immigration. And my question is, are we stuck with the 20 million illegals? To me, it's better for us to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission, and we should just go ahead and deport them. But to me, it's like we're waiting, and it's back in my mind. I'm going, are we going to be stuck with these 20 million? And when Democrats take power, are they going to, give them citizenship? Anyway, that's a mouthful. But anyway, I'm going to get off and let you answer. Thank you very much.
Well, I got to say, Ivan, you've got very important questions on your mind, and you're right. President Trump tried to undo Obamacare. In his first term in office, the Democrats self-immolated and they opposed it with every fiber of their being because they love giant government. Once you take someone's health care away from them and give it to the government, you control the people. And that's what totalitarian regimes do, and that's what the left is here to do. The Trump administration tried to undo it. I haven't heard any talk about it since he came back this time. And look, I'm still waiting. And I'm with you on President Trump, and I trust him, I believe him. And we've got to, where's the Jeffrey Epstein list? And really, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. We were told by the FBI director and by Dan Bunch, oh, yeah, he killed himself. Then they just moved on. I was talking about this with someone last night. Not nearly enough. I'm not convinced. And they've got to do more to convince me that. And you can't just laugh it off and say, oh, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Next question, that's not good enough. Now, you got power because of 77 million voters, and you've got to straighten up. I got to say, Ivan, on healthcare, they really wrecked healthcare, and it's going to be hard to unwreck. I don't know how you go back and unwreck it. It's going to be really hard. But and the Jake Tapper book, I'm going to get into that with you. That's coming up.
Instead of worrying about whether immigrants can learn English, they'll learn English. You need to make sure your child can speak Spanish.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Better news heading through Chevy Chase. Traffic no longer being diverted southbound Connecticut Avenue to get you past East-West Highway. Still watch for crash activity, but you can get through. Westbound on 410, still heavy approaching Connecticut Avenue. We had a crash on the westbound side there. 16th Street remains closed each direction north of Military Road. That crash under investigation. Crash reported on the eastbound toll road after Hunter Mill Road. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Here's the rain today, breezy and cool with the high of 58. Scattered showers tonight, low 53.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
SweetDeals.com lets you spend less and have more. Save at least 50% on extraordinary restaurant, product, and entertainment deals. Plus, amazing vacation packages. Live large and save money while doing it. Go to SweetDeals.com today and start saving.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
A new Gallup poll finds that fewer people are eating in a way they consider healthy. And what's more, they're not necessarily enjoying their food. Aside from being a total bummer, this is a problem because food satisfaction is linked to overall satisfaction. The principal researcher at Gallup told us this: people who feel good about their food also usually feel good about other aspects of their life. Well, dietitian Natalie Macari says, yes, it is important to consider all the nutrients you need in a meal, for sure. But determining whether you need a drizzle of sauce on top to make it enjoyable, that also matters. For most people, the satisfaction factor goes down if they are distracted while eating. So put down the phone and focus on your food. Something as simple as a device-free dinner with my family, they're the best parts of my day. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Making sense of the media.
The news media is attacking him because this is what happens when you're a Republican.
Chris Plant, weekdays 9 to noon.
Yeah, our news media, really.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, professional race car driver here with cab driver Artie.
Professional cab driver.
Sorry, professional cab driver Artie. Drinking responsibly is knowing your limits. If you are over yours, ask Artie or someone like Artie to get you home safely. To learn more about drinking responsibly, go to beforeyoudrink.org.
So, you think I could take your number 26 Crown Royal race car for a spin?
Did you get out of there?
Be a champion. Drink responsibly. This message has been brought to you by the Century Council.
Clarity and context for a complex world.
I'm going to be far more thorough and specific than ever before.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
I'm Paula Pan. I help people make the smartest money decisions possible. Because let's face it, money's too important to wing it.
What you'll hear is a couple money geeks sitting and talking about this stuff that we're so passionate about.
You name it, anything that's on your mind. Retirement debt, student loans, saving for college.
It's a personal finance journey. It is a wide-ranging squirrel conversation about the topic of personal finance and good financial planning. Super fun.
Afford anything. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry.
car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
And Democrat, radical, communist, extremist, pro-gang member, Congresswoman MacGyver. She is due in court today. She should get at least 22 years in prison, maybe Guantanamo. Maybe we should reopen Alcatraz for her and put her in the hole. Put her in the hole there. Supermax maybe underground for 22 years. Yeah, she should get the same thing Enrique Tarrio got. But that's 22 years, right? She should get. He didn't assault anybody, and the Democrats gave him 22 years. Deutschland. Let's go back to the phones, Mike. Let's go to John calling from Salem, Oregon. John, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hello, Chris.
Hey, John.
Are you there?
Yes, sir.
I'm from Ohio, not Oregon.
I you know what? And I read it wrong. My fault entirely. Salem, Ohio. I apologize.
But one of my questions: why is nobody going to jail? We got all the right people in there, but nothing's happening. And just like Comey, we know he's lying. We know he's lying because that's a given with Democrats, right?
Yes.
Why don't they give him a lie detector test and throw him in jail?
Why wasn't he arrested at home in a pre-dawn raid with armed FBI agents with rifles and helmets and flashlights like Roger Stone was?
Right. And one other thing about these auto pen things. We don't know who did that. Shouldn't the Supreme Court or somebody say they all should be thrown out? Because we don't know who did that.
Well, you're right. These executive orders as an auto pen, and if the White House chief of staff, or if Hunter Biden, as Jake Tapper is suggesting, Hunter Biden was really in charge. If Hunter Biden was signing these things, you're right, John.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
Welcome to WMAL News at 10. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Matthews. Breaking news this morning. Northern Virginia Democratic Congressman Jerry Connolly died peacefully this morning at his home in Fairfax County, surrounded by family, that according to his office. Connolly, who'd been battling esophageal cancer, announced last month that his cancer had progressed and he would not be seeking re-election. Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan, who clashed for years with Connolly on the House Oversight Committee, told WMAL's O'Connor and Company this morning.
He and I debated a lot of things, didn't share the same views on much, but he was a good man, and I feel for his family, and we're sad to lose him. And he was a public servant, local government, and then Congress for a long, long time.
Before spending 16 years in Congress, Connolly spent 14 years on the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors. Jerry Connolly was 75 years old. The House GOP leadership could force a vote on the so-called Big Beautiful Bill as soon as today.
Speaker Mike Johnson says he's confident that Republicans are going to be able to, in his words, land this plane, but Johnson is still working behind the scenes to secure votes from the last remaining holdouts. Here's what's in the bill right now. It makes the 2017 tax cuts permanent. It eliminates taxes on tips and overtime, and critically increases the SALT deduction cap from $10,000 to $40,000. The tax hike on wealthy Americans that was talked about early on in discussions is completely out.
Fox News' Grady Trimble. Hundreds of parents turned out last night at the Loudoun County School Board to address a policy that allows students to use high school locker rooms based on personal gender identity.
There were a handful of parents who showed up last night in favor of this policy, but the vast majority who spoke at this school board meeting are against policy 8040, which allows students to use locker rooms and bathrooms based on their gender identity. At times things got so heated, the school board here in Loudoun County had to recess. The school board has yet to comment on the investigation or any potential policy changes for LCPS.
7 News' John Gonzalez. The search continues for 3 suspects who police say shot and killed a man Tuesday in Northeast, just steps away from an elementary elementary school track meet.
4th and 5th graders were there for a track meet when they say they heard gunfire.
My friends heard gunshots, and so we just thought that they were testing a starting pistol for the meet. And then my mom and the coaches were like yelling to everybody to get down because like there were like several shots.
Well, no students or staff were injured, but police said the victim was walking along the sidewalk by the track field when 3 suspects approached and shot him. If you know anything about this shooting, call MPD.
7 News, Adriana Hopkins. The optics of seeing the nation's only black governor vetoing a bill that would have formed a task force to study reparations are not playing well for Maryland's Wes Moore. He is set to headline a major fundraising dinner in South Carolina next week, and one state lawmaker there is already calling for that invitation to be rescinded. The Dow is down 280 points at this hour. NASDAQ's down 48. Up next, traffic and weather on WMAL.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Make every day better than yesterday. Live your best life and max out your potential with the Ed Milet Show.
The quality of your life is really comprised of the quality of the questions you ask yourself.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to
So there you have it. Only after birthday. I knew you were logical all along, you fucking punk motherfucker. Now everybody knows. I didn't go figure. All right? Especially when you first appeared on fucking that stream. You make up a name. You can't be yourself, logical. You can't use your own picture. You can't glorify your mother. All you have just doom and gloom for other people because that's what your life is. You suck. And you give a bad name to everybody with a name Patrick. I'm eating sweet potato pie. I'm gonna eat the rest of it. So there you go. And that's what JT is too. He's a fucking touch hole.
So heavy from Dale Boulevard up to 123, and then from back to Crewlerton up to the Beltway in Springfield. 66 eastbound, still under speed from Manassas to Centerville, from 50 to 123 after that. Westbound on 66, pretty heavy from Fairfax Drive to Washington Boulevard. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Scattered showers throughout the afternoon could become heavier as we move into the evening. Highs only the upper 50s to lower 60s. Scattered showers overnight tomorrow.
I pray to God you're not wigging.
Highs in the 60s.
You better pray I don't find out that you're actually wigging. That ain't going to be good.
Reagan National, I'm John Matthews. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
Joe Scarborough lying like a psychopath on some kind of drug about how smart and how cogent Joe Biden was after his meeting with Joe Biden at the White House, where he's sucking up and giving a tongue bath to the Democrat Party at every possible turn. Joe Scarborough, a former Republican member of Congress, very comfortable lying, very, very comfortable lying, sitting there with his semi-inflatable flotation device of a third wife, Nika. On a very good Wednesday, too. Welcome back once again. We remain at 888-630-9625. Joe Scarborough, MSDNC, now better known as MS-13 DNC, because they're in bed with every bad actor on the planet as representatives of the Democrat Party, which is what they are at MS-13 DNC. Remarkable times we are in. These are truly awful people. We've got more. There's more Scarborough today, and these people, they're psychopaths. There's something terribly wrong with their brains. Their brains do not function as designed by God. Remarkable stuff. And speaking of Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper lying to the American people for years and years, and then a guy came to him with a book and said, "Hey, I'm Alex Thompson. I've written a book, and it kind of tells the truth a little bit about Joe Biden's brain." And now he got this whole cancer thing, the prostate cancer. That's, scores 9 out of 10 on this prostate cancer scale. And it's level 4. The cancer is so advanced, it's metastasized to the bone. And even Zeke Emanuel, the Democrat oncologist, brother of Rahm Emanuel, and he says, the oncologist, the expert, the world-renowned oncologist, Zeke Emanuel, he said, Joe Biden, he probably had this prostate cancer for a decade.
Doesn't it take some time for prostate cancer to develop to a point where it would spread to the bones?
Oh, he's had this for many years, maybe even a decade.
Maybe even a decade, says Zeke Emanuel, one of the architects of Obamacare, which did agree. Maybe that's why it got lost. And for 10 years, they missed the president of the United States. He was the vice president. And then the president of the United States are like, oh, he's got cancer? Maybe we should have looked at that. Maybe the doctor that follows him everywhere he goes all day and all night for years on end. Maybe the doctor should have known something about it. Maybe he's a drunk or something. His name is O'Connor, right? You got this O'Connor guy? I don't want to stereotype, but you know how that goes. Isn't that amazing? The lie's so big, make the lie so big that no one would dare to not believe it. They modeled it on Gurgle, I think. I think the whole thing is modeled on Gurgle. Just amazing. And here's a funny headline out of the radical left-wing Mediaite. Jake Tapper admits, quote, conservative media was right, end quote, about Biden during Frank Megyn Kelly interview. Who is Frank Megyn Kelly anyway? Are they wishing that Megyn Kelly would? These people they got a lot of issues. I wouldn't write it that way in the headline. Frank Megyn. Who is Frank Megyn Kelly? Megyn Kelly, the wonderful Megyn Kelly. And it was an honest interview. But why would you muddy the waters with Frank Megyn Kelly interview? CNN Fanker. That's a portmanteau of fake and anchor. He's a fanker. CNN Fanker Jake Tapper conceded on Tuesday that conservative media was right about former President Joe Biden declining health. About his declining health, that's his mental health, and that he had the rest of the legacy media needed to engage in a lot of soul searching. What a crock. What a festering boil you are. Honestly, you need to be lanced. That's just imagery that goes back to my high school years, I think. Just amazing stuff. There it is. During an appearance on the Megyn Kelly Show, a real truth seeker and truth teller, Megyn Kelly, and she looks better than anybody, too. Jake Tapper was grilled. I love that term, grilled, when you're talking to somebody, by host Megyn Kelly about his own failure to cover signs of Biden's declining health and cognitive acuity during the 2024 presidential election. Now, how is it that I knew all about this, and you knew all about this, and Michael Piercy knew all about this, and Jasmine knew all about this, but Jake Tapper, how am I supposed to know? He's a former Democrat operative. He's a current Democrat operative. He's a former actual Democrat Hill staffer on Capitol Hill. He worked for a Democrat member of the House of Representatives whose ex-husband, also a Democrat member of the House of Representatives, went to the penitentiary for being corrupt. And their son married Chelsea Clinton because it's all a circle fest and a hot tub. And this is the most corrupt city on the planet Earth. Kiev is less corrupt than Washington, D.C. And they're assassinating their political opponents on the sidewalks of Madrid, Spain today. But never mind that, because the New York Times will never mind that. CNN will never mind that. Jake Tapper won't cover that because he's not in the news business. He's in the Democrat Party propaganda business. Now, let's go to, for example, in 2020, you may recall that was an election year and everything. We had 2020 and then 2024. We got all this stuff going on. 2016, Donald Trump, we got Jake Tapper doing the propaganda for the Democrat Party. And Jake Tapper had Laura Trump on, and he wanted to, because Laura Trump had said, gee, it looks like Joe Biden's brain looks like she's a broke.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
A stutter?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline. Okay. That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You are no. I think that's so amazing.
You interrupt her, cut her off, talk over.
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
But Dr. Tapper, the former Democrat Capitol Hill staffer, he is the resident psychiatrist at CNN, where I think they're probably in need of many psychiatrists right now. Cognitive decline. That's in 2020. Who was it? Somebody sent me video yesterday of me on television in 2020, talking about Joe Biden's brain power missing a step, and he obviously his brain isn't working so well. And that was me on television in 2020. But Jake Tapper, being a propagandist and a professional liar for the Democrat Party and a former Democrat Capitol Hill staffer, he is shutting her down, because if you're telling the truth, CNN is there to steamroll you. Jake Tapper is there to shut you down and to shut you up. He shut you down and shut you up. See how that works? Just amazing. Jake Tapper in 2020.
I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses, diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar.
So Jake Tapper endorses medical people that have never met Donald Trump, diagnosing him from afar. And he never shut anybody down on that topic. But when Laura Trump comes on, and it's obvious, it's plain for the world to see, everybody knew it. And our news media is so comfortable lying that they see planes crash into buildings in New York and say, no, there were no planes crashing into buildings in New York. I didn't see. How can you say there were planes crashing into buildings in New York? How can you say that Joe Biden is in cognitive decline when you see the obvious cognitive decline everywhere? So, wait, what? You think John F. Kennedy was shot in the head while driving through Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas? How can you say that? You're not a medical doctor. You're not a ballistics expert. And this is what Jake Tapper considers to be journalism. And by the way, he's an award-winning journalist, because this is what you get awards for when you're a journalist. You get a Lucite block for this kind of stuff. Isn't that amazing? And then he's just angrily shutting down the daughter of the president, who's observing what everyone was observing, except for Jake Tapper and all of his fellow travelers who have spread the biggest lie. Joseph Goebbels would be embarrassed to have done for him what Joe Biden has had done for him by our corrupt news media. Just astonishing. So Jake Tapper, he shut it down, and I'm done with you.
It's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
Listen to the smugness and the arrogance of being that corrupt, of being that filthy corrupt. You can't be that wrong. You can't be that ignorant. You can only be that corrupt.
Did I hear you correctly say that perhaps he was influenced by Gurgle?
Might have been Gurgle. It could have been Gurgle that he was influenced by. Well, then Megyn Kelly, because Jake Tapper is out there selling somebody else's book now. A book that Jake Tapper, I read yesterday. Jake Tapper didn't write this book, but the actual author came to Jake Tapper and said, hey, I've got a book, but no publishing house will publish it for me. Maybe if I put your crooked name on it, a crooked publishing house will take it, and then all the crooked media will put you on TV and will sell a lot of books and make a lot of money and buy a house at Deep Creek Lake and a boat because, just amazing stuff. You guys, the news media. All right, so let's get to an actual reporter, Megyn Kelly, who had Jake Tapper on because he wanted to risk it to sell more books written by someone else, and that's okay with him. They think LaMonica MacGyver is doing a great job and standing up for something, for the civil rights of gang members and murderers. Here's Megyn Kelly with Jake Tapper yesterday, asking him, say, hey, you're so crooked. You attacked Laura Trump for telling the truth in 2020.
You want to apologize to Laura Trump now?
Listen to
I
this.
already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
He called her.
And what did she say?
I don't want to disclose the
It's a
contents
secret.
of the private conversation, but I thought the conversation went well. And
It's not a
she said-
confidential source.
She has said this publicly, so I feel fine of sharing it. She said
I
that she
feel
would never
fine.
mock anybody's stutter.
Let
I mean,
anybody
you know,
stutter.
After we did
Said that in
research
the
for this
interview.
book, and I realized how bad his acuity issues were.
He realized. Only with the book.
I called Laura Trump and I said you were right.
She was totally right.
Not on TV. He did it in a private, secret conversation that never became public. Oh, yeah, I apologized to her. How completely useless. Your whole function on the planet is you're a bad, crooked Democrat Party frontman with a cable television show for which the Democrat Party pays you millions of dollars through their corporate shills at Time Warner and CNN. And so you kept it a secret that you apologized, that you confessed, that you admitted to being completely wrong about all of that? Is that what happened? So why would you apologize and not go on television and say, what does it matter that you apologized in secret to her? Oh, I did. It was a confidential conversation that I never made public, that I revealed that I was a lying Sacagawea and that I was wrong about everything and she was right about everything. And you didn't go on television and say that, which makes you a useless sack. What kind of sack? A Sacagawea. That's what kind. Are there other kinds of useless sacks? There are. But on the radio, he's a useless Sacagawea. Isn't that amazing? Hey, if you've had just about enough of the big wireless scam and runaround, it is now time to switch to Consumer Cellular. I got my Consumer Cellular phone in the mail. Got it up and running about a week ago. It is a beauty. It's a humdinger. It works like a champ. It is just great. And I'm representing them. They sent me, I got it as a gift. The most beautiful phone you've ever seen. It takes the greatest pictures. You're going to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage that you get from the big wireless people without the cost and the scam of the big wireless prices and without the megacorp shenanigans they're so famous for, where they force you into a crazy plan for tons of money that you don't need with all that unlimited data. Consumer Cellular isn't one of these, it's not a prepaid option. You pick a plan, you know exactly what your bill's going to be at the end of every month. No surprises, and it's very easy to switch to. All you have to do is call, and you speak to an actual human being, not a computer, based right here in the United States, not in a galaxy far, far away. And they make switching your plan fast. They make switching your plan easy. And now you can get your second month free because we're friends. And you use the special promo code CHRIS. That's me, CHRIS. Taxes and third-party fees will apply. So check out consumercellular.com/CHRIS for more information, or call them the old-fashioned way at 800-760-0702. Yes, sir. Yeah, why don't you hear this? I got more Jake Tapper cornered by a truth teller, Megyn Kelly. That's coming up. I would fact check that too.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home for real estate investing.
So why real estate?
We keep saying it, but the housing market is shifting more and more towards a buyer's market every week.
Guess what, folks? You can still buy real estate today
You can buy a quality rental property today.
and build an investment portfolio that cash flows monthly
These are my favorite markets for cash flow.
and build wealth long term.
The world has changed, but the best way to invest in real estate hasn't.
Search for the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Show anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
School absences are often due to the absence of necessary resources. But when Communities in Schools is present, students are connected to the support they need to show up ready to learn. Visit communitiesinschools.org. Being present matters.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania.
It is Haley Carania. I'm excited to be here because there's a lot to scroll through on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Truth Social. Love seeing you all in the chat before the show. I tried to jump in just a few minutes before to say hello. I love the chat interaction. Thank you for helping. Love all my homies that I get to scroll with. If you want to listen, Nightly Scroll with Haley is where you can find me. Just search that up and I will be there. We've got to spread the word far and wide.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paula Pan. I help people make the smartest money decisions possible because let's face it, money's too important to wing it.
What you'll hear is a couple money geeks sitting and talking about this stuff that we're so passionate about.
You name it, anything that's on your mind, retirement debt, student loans, saving for college.
It's a personal finance journey. It is a wide-ranging squirrel conversation about the topic of personal finance and good financial planning. Super fun.
Afford anything. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Blowing out your birthday candles should be easy, but if you have undiagnosed COPD, you may find yourself short of breath. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years to your life. If you have symptoms like wheezing or chronic cough, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
SweetDeals.com lets you spend less and have more. Save at least 50% on extraordinary restaurant, product, and entertainment deals. Plus, amazing vacation packages. Live large and save money while doing it. Go to SweetDeals.com today and start saving.
Let's see, something different for dinner. Searching restaurants near me.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Gee, same old, same old.
Wait, we're right here. Ma'am, our restaurant's just a few blocks from you. Why is she not seeing us?
Back to the usual, I guess.
Ma'am, can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Making sense of the border.
Homeland security is right there at the tippy top of American concerns.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon.
You gotta be tough.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Real stories about real people on The Sean Ryan Show.
John Shrek McPhee, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Been a long time coming, huh?
I thought I should have been the first guest.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 till 9 on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
All right, Jasmine Crockett from Texas, the Democrat lunatic congressman from Texas. Is that true, or are you making that up? She's jumping in, saying that she wants to take the congressional seat of Democrat Jerry Connolly of Virginia, who we learned this morning died of cancer at the age of 75, Congressman Jerry Connolly. And Jasmine Crockett from Texas wants that seat. Why? Is that a shorter commute to Washington? Why would she be in line for a congressional seat in Virginia? Nobody knows, but the Democrat Party is kind of crazy. All right, let's grab a phone call, Michael. Let's go to, I've got more of Megyn Kelly and Jake Tapper, Lion Sacagawea coming up. Right now, let's go to Seamus, calling from Woodbridge, Virginia. Seamus, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
I've been paying attention to what's been going on in the House with the big, beautiful bill.
Mm-hmm.
And I would attribute it to a balloon with two openings.
Mm-hmm.
On one opening, they're cutting taxes. And on the other opening, they're spending it twice as fast as they're putting it into the balloon.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't get these people out of office and get a handle on this stuff, we're going to lose our country. We're already $36 trillion in debt. And I would plead to all your great audience, and we've had some great calls this morning, to call your representatives, give them the heat as I did this morning, and tell them to get off their butts and cut, because they're doing the usual Republican thing, the usual deep state thing, where they're cutting the projected spending and they're not touching the actual amount that they're spending annually.
You're on to them, Seamus. And the decrease in the rate of increase and still adding trillions more to the national debt and not fixing the problem.
This is the Chris Plante Show. WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, Cumulus Media Station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
From WMAL News at 10:30, I'm John Matthews. House Republicans may vote on their multi-trillion-dollar package of tax breaks and program cuts as soon as today. They spent all night grinding out last-minute deals to shore up support for President Trump's top legislative priority. The president himself had instructed the Republican majority to quit arguing and get it done. Speaking of deals, it appears the president's hopes of making a deal with Iran on its nuclear program may be on the ropes. Iran's top diplomat insists Iran will never stop enriching uranium, drawing a red line on negotiations with the U.S., which says there will be no deal if Iran doesn't back down. Virginia Congressman Jerry Connolly has died a month after announcing his bout with esophageal cancer at the breast. Connolly, a Democrat who spent 16 years representing Northern Virginia in the House, spent 14 years before that on the Fairfax County Board. Jerry Connolly was 75. Traffic and weather next.
This report is sponsored by the Virginia DMV, reminding you to click it or ticket. You hear it on the news way too often. Another life lost because of a crash where someone wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Don't make that story about you. Buckle up and click it or ticket. A message from the Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles.
Steve Hirshhorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
On 95 northbound in Virginia, very slow, leaving Stafford County from 630 Courthouse Road up to the accident blocking the left lane near the exit for Quantico, exit 148. Around the Beltway now on the inner loop after Route 1 in College Park, an accident on the shoulder. Delays begin near I-95. Dulles Toll Road eastbound 267 after Hunter Mill Road before Wolf Trap. It was an accident causing an unexpected delay on Hunter Mill Road at Hunter Station Road. It was a report of wires down in the roadway. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Rainy, breezy, and cool today with the high only near 60. It is 55 at Reagan National. John Matthews, News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
This shit.
making sense of your world.
Common sense. Let's get back to common sense.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon.
Now that should give you a lot of cause for hope.
News Talk 105.9, WMAL, making sense of the news.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companion for independent assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at DonorsShoes.org.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
Let's see, something different for dinner. Searching restaurants near me.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Gee, same old, same old.
Wait, we're right here. Ma'am, our restaurant's just a few blocks from you. Why is she not seeing us?
Back to the usual, I guess.
Ma'am, can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
75 years of research, 75 years of policy,
75 years of opportunity.
75 years of freedom.
This is 75 years of the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
Join us at nda75.org.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
WMAL, making sense of education. Because what's happening in your kid's school matters. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Little Led Zeppelin. The great Led Zeppelin. Bum, 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 bum. I had a fun going back and forth with one of my brothers yesterday who had been visiting here in Washington, D.C. And we were going back and forth. We were talking about Led Zeppelin, as you might, because why wouldn't you? And everybody loves Led Zeppelin. 20-year-olds love Led Zeppelin. You see, I see teenagers, my best girl, in restaurants, you see like 14-year-olds following along the lyrics of Led Zeppelin songs. It's kind of amazing. But my brother sent me... he was studying up on Led Zeppelin, and there's a new documentary out about Led Zeppelin. Since we're playing a little Led Zeppelin, my brother told me that in the movie Goldfinger, the James Bond movie, the Sean Connery James Bond movie Goldfinger, right? They had what's her name, Shirley Bassey, doing Goldfinger, right, singing the song, and it was a great movie. It's still a great movie to this day. 1964, that movie. So was that 61 years ago? 61 years ago. And Goldfinger came out. Shirley Bassey singing the Goldfinger song. Turns out that two members of Led Zeppelin were doing the music. John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page were on the soundtrack of Shirley Bassey singing the song Goldfinger. And they were, Led Zeppelin was not a thing. These guys, it was kind of pre-Led Zeppelin, but Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones are on the soundtrack for the song Goldfinger, the soundtrack for the movie, which is completely crazy. Just nuts. Isn't it? Yeah, it is. As a pretty good band. And I'm going to get back to, I just wanted to share that because it's and I wasn't planning on sharing it. Michael played the Led Zeppelin. I was not expecting that. And it reminded me of texts between my brother and myself. So, yeah, great Led Zeppelin story there. So I wanted to share that. And I haven't even gone to look it up myself, but my brother texted me, and I trust my brother to not make stuff up. So fun little side story. And we're going to get back to Megyn Kelly and Jake Tapper being exposed as a typical fake Washington journalist, Democrat Capitol Hill staffer turned fake journalist. You know, Chunk Todd was a former Democrat Senate campaign staffer before he became a fake journalist. And yeah, David Axelrod in the Obama White House, he was a fake reporter before he became a Democrat White House official. The list goes on and on. I worked with Joe Lockhart at CNN before he left CNN to go work on Democrat campaigns and become the Clinton White House spokesman. The Democrat Party and the news media are, let's just say they're dating. When I say dating, I'll leave it at that. That's that. But I have my mailbag because it's Wednesday and it's mailbag day. And Michael and I were talking about it today. And so let's not wait to the last minute today, which I'm in the bad habit of doing. But I'll get back to lots more news, thanks to the Democrat Party. Now, let me go to the mailbag now. And let me begin with Greg. With Greg's mailbag question for our Mailbag Wednesday. And Greg says, as I laughed out loud when I read this morning, is there a soundproof room nearby your studio where you go between segments and scream the George Carlin 7 words you can't say on the radio after dealing with some callers? God knows I scream them for you, he says. And I've got to say, it's pretty funny. I've been known to use colorful language when I'm not on the radio, and language that, like the some of the 7 words, George Carlin. Although I don't curse nearly as much as I used to. I curse a lot less than I used to. And I think I can credit radio for some of that. But Greg, the truth is I'm surrounded by soundproof rooms. There's a sound, I'm pointing, Jasmine is in a soundproof room to my left through a giant window. And John is through a giant pane of glass over here in another soundproof room. If I walk across the hall in any direction, there are soundproof rooms all over the place. There are studios. Jasmine is screaming. She's screaming at the top of her lungs through that big piece of glass in the soundproof room. And we couldn't hear unless she pushes the right button, and then we can hear. But there are soundproof rooms everywhere. And the truth is, Greg, I'm incredibly calm. I'm kind of amazingly calm. I'm calm all the time, almost all the time. And I don't, I shouldn't say this out loud, but I've been doing radio for almost 20 years now. And I have never cursed. While the microphone is on in studio or anything. And the truth is, no, I love when left-wing callers, they don't call it as frequently as they used to, because I think they're all having mental breakdowns and considering what gender they are. And they don't call in to argue as much as they do. I get an occasional lib, and I'm happy when libs call in. We still, Mike the lib has gone MIA. He might be in a jail in El Salvador or something. He might be in Yemen. He might have joined the Houthis, as a lot of Democrats apparently have done. But truthfully, Greg, I don't pound the table. I don't yell. I'm not angry when I leave. And this has always been true since I started doing radio. When I leave after 3 hours, I'm more calm than I was when I came in. I'm more calm than I was when I woke up in the morning. It's calming for me. I get to vent and tell the truth, unfiltered, and it's a wonderful thing. And I really don't scream and yell, and I don't curse about any of it, because this is the greatest format that media has ever created. And I find it, I don't want to say very therapeutic, but it wouldn't be wrong to say that I find it very therapeutic because I get to vent, I get to get everything out. Hey, and that's and with Michael Pierce, you can drop in a soundbite from the end of Animal House with Kevin Bacon being run over by the crowd after the Deathmobile terrorized everyone at the parade. But God knows I screamed them for you, says Greg. I thank you for that. I appreciate that, Greg, and I understand that completely. I do. I know plenty of people that do the same. I do, but not me. Not me. I'm Mr. Calm. I'm the very picture, the model of calm, which people I went to high school with might laugh out loud about. But look at me now. Debbie says, thank you, Greg. Debbie's question from the mailbag. I'm concerned that the American people aren't getting answers to so many issues. Boy, is that true. That's understatement. Such as the drone invasion last year. Remember all the drones over New Jersey and New York area? And Debbie, you're absolutely right. Where's the explanation to that? And where's the explanation to, again, FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino were being interviewed days ago, and the interviewer asked, did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? And they both kind of laughed and said, yes, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. And I'm going to say I find that answer to be entirely unsatisfying. Entirely unsatisfying. And the interviewer should have said, well, wait a minute, because about half the country doesn't believe what you just said, and your credibility is on the line. You were given power. And where's the pipe bomber, DNC and RNC pipe bomber? Where is that? And where's the accountability for it? But there are so many things. Debbie asked, the American people aren't getting the answers to so many issues like the drone invasion last year, 100% true. The assassination attempts on Trump, absolutely true. And whose cocaine was left in the White House? Yeah, there are no cameras there. There are no cameras. And the Biden people we know lied to us. When are we going to get the truth? Do you have any idea why there is no explanation? Boy, that could be a 3-day show. That could be a 3-day long show. Biden, the Democrats, the permanent bureaucracy, the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN. But now Trump is in charge, and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And Dan talked a lot about it. I know Dan and always like Dan. And Dan started his radio career a few feet from where I'm sitting right now in this studio, on this floor, in this building in Washington, D.C. And I haven't seen Dan in a while, and not since he went to the FBI. But we need the answers to these questions. And now that the good guys are in charge, we need a lot more answers, and we need them now. And we don't need kind of laughing off to Jeffrey Epstein kill himself. Where are the videos? Where's the... why did he have the bed sheets to hang himself? He was supposed to be on suicide watch. The guards were gone. And all of it was just kind of, ha, ha, ha. They laughed it off. And let's set that aside. Where's the Jeffrey Epstein lists from the airplane, from the island, the phones, where they were talking about sexually abusing children in a ritualistic way over the course of years, and big, powerful names involved all over the place. And we still haven't gotten that. And, the disappointments that come from Washington, D.C. and our federal government continue to reverberate. And, Debbie, you're absolutely right to be raising an eyebrow about this. And I raise an eyebrow about it. And there's so many things every day. It's the daily tsunami of lunacy. And I know that that's what Kash Patel is dealing with, and Dan Bongino is dealing with, what Donald Trump is dealing with, what the White House is dealing with, White House press secretary, wonderful she is it, Caroline Levitt dealing with every day, and on and on. But I want to pound the table a little. We need answers, and it'd be nice to get some answers like every day about that. The botched job in Afghanistan, and the list is long. And you're right about the dipstick in Butler, Pennsylvania, that shot President Trump through the ear, and how that happened, and the one shot, one kill counter sniper, Secret Service killed that lunatic, and all that. So, yeah, we need answers. And the loon in Florida that is in custody, and these stories just fall by the wayside. When Steve Scalise was shot and nearly killed by the Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer, James Hodgkinson, another suicide attack, by the way. And And we got about nothing from that. That was in the news media, one day story, the most corrupt institution in America. But Debbie, you're 100% right, and I'm going to redouble. I was like that, to redouble. Were you going to redouble? What were you only one doubling before? You're going to redouble? Well, you're absolutely right, Debbie. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating for me. RS tweets too. Thank you, Debbie. In the mailbag today, what news will Jake Tapper report in 5 years that he'll claim is a complete surprise, even though it's obvious to everyone today? Well, that's a good question, because there will be more, no doubt. There will be more. And our phony news media, our corrupt news media. Look, Jake Tapper, he's still involved in a cover-up. Make no mistake, he's not confessing to anything or admitting anything. This is a rolling cover-up. It's a cover-up of the cover-up, as I believe we called it on my Newsmax show last night at 10 p.m. Eastern, The Right Squad. And it's a cover-up of the cover-up that is ongoing right now. And Jake Tapper is very much involved in that. And the guy that actually wrote the book, that guy, Alex Thompson, who actually wrote the book, which Jake Tapper didn't write. He's just pimping it now. Isn't that amazing? But yeah, I can't say what report, 5 years from now, that'll claim as a complete surprise. But you just have to crack the code and know that they're lying, and then they lie about their lies. And I've been talking about this for years. I've been saying they lie to us, and then they lie to us about lying to us about their lies. And it's amazing. And I've said for years, if you're married to one of them, or if your sister is married to them, one of them, know that they're lying to them and that they're cheating on them, because they're liars and they're cheats. Perfectly normal. As I was talking about the White House press plane traveling with the President of the United States, and the old, the old saying on the White House press plane, wheels up, rings off. Wheels up, rings off. Because lie, cheat, steal, perfectly normal. It's been made normal. They're the left. They think they're liberals, but they're really not. And then our last mailbag question today from Chris. Chris and Ellie actually mailed it in by U.S. mail. I love that. Chris in Alexandria, Virginia. Do you ever worry that the public figures whom you ridicule might be listening to your program? And no, I really don't. I hope they're listening to my program. But do you ever worry that the public figures whom you ridicule might be listening to your radio program? And has this led to any awkward moments when you cross paths with them in a social setting? And I've got to say, I don't worry about it. I just tell the truth. And if they don't like it, that's too darn bad. I'll keep it clean. That's too bad. And I do encounter people in public from time to time. And let me tell you this, Chris, I don't care. I just don't care. I haven't been shot and killed yet. So anything short of that, I just don't care. I'm not worried about that. So there it is. Yes, sir. You are. But you're on the side. It's a fun question. I like the question. You ever worry public figures you ridicule might be listening? I assume they are. And any awkward moments, I don't care. That's too bad for them. And I just don't care. Because I know that I'm telling the truth. So if they don't like the truth being told about them, that's too bad. Maybe they should behave differently or find a different line of work. And that's all I care about. Thank you, Chris. And that's our mailbag today on Mailbag Wednesday. That was fun. I like that. You know that when a mother with an unplanned pregnancy is deciding what to do about her future and the future of her unborn child, it can be overwhelming. She, of course, wants to make the right choice, but we live in a society, and sometimes those people around her are telling her that her baby's not actually a human being or human life. Well, Preborn's entire ministry is all about loving these women, these pregnant women with child, and empowering these women with the choice of life. And it can be an eternal moment for them. Now, Briella, a young woman ready to take an abortion pill when she found she was pregnant to end her pregnancy, but the pill didn't come as expected. She decided instead to go to a preborn clinic. And after receiving a free ultrasound from Preborn, her eternal moment happened. Not only did her unborn baby wave at her and show a heartbeat, but then she realized that the baby was a boy that she remembered, hey, I've always wanted a boy. So she had the boy. Now, if you have the means, maybe you could consider a leadership gift to preborn to save babies in a big way. Your tax-deductible donation of 5,000 American dollars will sponsor Preborn's entire network for 24 hours, a full day, helping to rescue up to 200 unborn babies. Not so bad. To donate, all you have to do is dial pound 250. And when prompted, you say the keyword baby. You dial pound 250. And when prompted, you say the keyword baby. Or you can donate securely online at preborn.com/plant. That's preborn.com/PLANTE. Preborn has done 100% charity rating, 100% charity rating, so you can give with confidence. Yes, sir. Yeah, the mailbag. I like the mailbag. We should do the mailbag more often. We talk to people in real time, too. It's call in. This is not like CNN or something where they completely ignore their dwindling number of viewers.
Did I hear you correctly say that perhaps he was influenced by Gergel and the Third Reich in terms of telling a big lie? I just want to make sure that's what I heard you say.
That's right. There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Making sense of the headlines. Making sense of your world. WMAL's Vince Colonnese.
Thank you for all you do on the radio show.
What a nice call. Thank you very much.
Weekdays, noon to 3. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. For a local news source you can trust, visit WMAL.com.
Thank God for that.
Get the day's top stories. Stream your favorite WMAL shows. Access our podcast archives and more. WMAL.com. Making sense of your world online.
I'm Paula Pan. I help people make the smartest money decisions possible. Because let's face it, money's too important to wing.
What you'll hear is a couple money geeks sitting and talking about this stuff that we're so passionate about.
You name it, anything that's on your mind. Retirement debt, student loans, saving for college.
It's a personal finance journey. It is a wide-ranging squirrel conversation about the topic of personal finance and good financial planning. Super fun.
Afford anything. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Making sense of the border.
Homeland security is right there at the tippy top of American concerns.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese. Weekdays at noon.
You gotta be tough.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
We're the stronger than we look type.
I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2.
The braver than you think type.
I have to take insulin shots every single day.
The type that will stop at nothing.
No more blood sugar tests.
Absolutely nothing.
No more complications.
Until type 1 becomes type none.
Support JDRF's life-changing research, and one day you'll say, I helped turn type 1 into type none. Join us now at jdrf.org.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
Searching for an inside look at the people, stories, and passion that fuel the state of soccer in America? The United States Soccer Federation will be launching the all-new U.S. Soccer Podcast. Episodes will go beyond the field with players, coaches, and legends to bring you honest conversations and untold stories. This is where soccer will come to life. The U.S. Soccer Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
There are countless ways to practice gratitude, something that's been shown to have significant health benefits. But this is one I hadn't thought of before, or at least I've never done it myself. A colleague of mine told me that she started sending a monthly postcard to a family member or a friend, not for the birthday or a holiday, just to tell them how thankful she is that they are in her life. Pretty nice idea, right? She talked to a few psychologists about it who said people might be more expressive with their appreciation in postcards, and they use more meaningful and descriptive language than they would even in face-to-face interactions. And I'll let you in on one of my favorite expressions, which is, I would have written you a shorter letter, but I didn't have the time. That means take some time, write from the heart. Doesn't need to be long, but just keep in mind all the joy that that note is likely to bring. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at DonorsShoes.org.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Actor Michael Rosenbaum, you know some of the most talented people in the business.
Will Wheaton is here. Getting ready to do this podcast. I text my Star Trek family. That is a supernatural impulse. If you're here for Jane Moore, you found the right place.
Have you always had a large personality? The nicest way anybody's ever put it. You always warn people out.
From Twilight, Ashley Green.
We were just like, no one's going to see this. This is not going to be a good movie.
I really love the movie.
Don't feel bad.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
WMAL, making sense of the forecast, because you never know what Mother Nature has in store. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin playing the original, the movie version, 1964 of the song Goldfinger. They played it out, studio musicians, and then Shirley Bassey came in and sang the song. And according to Jimmy Page, Shirley Bassey came into the studio, did it in one take, did the Goldfinger song in one take, held that long note at the end, and fell to the ground, collapsed, ran out of breath. Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones sat in there and said, "Oh, I wonder if we've got a future in music."
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 11. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Matthews. Northern Virginia Democratic Congressman Jerry Connolly has died. His office made the announcement in a statement saying he passed away peacefully at his home in Fairfax County, surrounded by family. Connolly had been suffering from esophageal cancer, and his death comes just weeks after he announced he was stepping back and would not run for re-election. Word of his death reached quickly the House Rules Committee, which was in the midst of an all-night session hashing out details of the Trump budget bill. Committee Chair Republican Virginia Fox making the announcement.
I'm going to ask us all to stop and say a prayer for his family. Please take some time.
Ohio Republican Jim Jordan heard the news of Connolly's passing on WMAL, then shared his thoughts with O'Connor and Company.
Jerry was a good man. We served on the Oversight Committee together for a number of years, and there's certain members that you count as worthy adversaries.
Connolly spent 17 years in Congress, 14 years before that on the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors. He was 75 years old. Congressional Republicans are pushing ahead with that budget bill.
Everyone wants to know when the House may vote on the big, beautiful bill, but some GOP skeptics are closer to getting on board. But Fox is told other problems erupted overnight. That is typical when trying to finalize a bill of this magnitude. One of the most vexing issues has been SALT. That's a tax break for state and local taxes. There was a deal for an expanded SALT deduction. Conservatives worry about a pay-for, but New York Republicans say it's essential for their votes.
Fox News' Chad Pergram, the Congressional Budget Office, says the bill's tax cuts would increase the federal deficit by nearly $4 trillion over a decade. The CBO says the lowest income households in the U.S. would see resources drop,
while the highest incomes would see a boost. Former President Biden's office says his last known prostate cancer screening was in 2014.
A statement from AIDS did not reveal the results of the 2014 test, but did say former President Biden had, quote, never been diagnosed with prostate cancer. President Trump's annual physical exam in April included a prostate screening. Former President Biden's cancer diagnosis comes amid accusations the Biden administration engaged in a cover-up about the 46th president's cognitive decline. Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The 17-year-old's been charged as an adult with manslaughter after a deadly car crash in Olney.
Montgomery County Police say Caleb Ollie was on his phone going 86 and a 40, using right turn only lanes to pass vehicles stopped at red lights and weaving through traffic when he hit a Lexus. The Lexus's driver, 56-year-old Morton Golduski of Bethesda, was pinned inside the vehicle and later died at the hospital. His female passenger was also injured, as was Ali. The teen turned himself into police Tuesday. Heather Curtis on WMAL and WMAL.com.
The Dow is down 365 points. NASDAQ's up 17. Traffic and weather next.
We are the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
Steve Hirshhorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Now we head over to Stafford County, Virginia now. Northbound 95 is closed between Route 630 Courthouse Road, exit 140, and 610 Garrisonville Road, exit 143 because of a jackknife tractor trailer. Nobody's getting by right now. Delays are building through Stafford County, beginning near Centerport Parkway. Now, north of that, the accident that caused the initial delay there was on 95 north of Quantico. That was just cleared away. Around the Beltway, the outer loop is pretty heavy. Old Georgetown Road to the Dulles Toll Road. Inner loop slows Old Georgetown Road to Connecticut Avenue. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Scattered showers throughout the afternoon could become heavier as we move into the evening. Highs only in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Scattered showers overnight. Tomorrow mostly cloudy with showers and a few thunderstorms. Highs in the 60s. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin of the First Alert Weather Center.
56 at Reagan National. John Matthews. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
I said that this was Biden at his best. Sure. That's what I saw. I don't know. Other people thought I was obviously wrong. So I'm not sure what my takeaway is here.
That is Joe Scarborough today on his cable television show, for which giant megacorp, the patriarchy, pays him millions of dollars to lie and lie and lie. And when he gets caught lying, you know what he does? He comes up with a new lie and he lies again because he's a liar. And once you learn that a person is a liar, well, it becomes problematic believing them going forward, doesn't it? I believe it does. Pretty amazing stuff. I tell you, I'm getting texts from friends here about as the mailbag, wonderful mailbag questions. And feels like we're still being lied to all over the place and what's going on with the government. Not getting answers to a lot of questions, as Debbie asked. The drone invasion, still haven't learned enough about that. Assassination attempts, plural, on President Trump. And a friend of mine who's an investigator also say a little disappointed in Pam Bondi, too, the Attorney General. Why aren't people in handcuffs? Why the Democrats arrest everybody around them? They arrest them at airports. They put them in leg shackles. They put them in solitary confinement without food and water. They won't let them talk to lawyers. The Democrats make that normal. They arrest grandmothers for praying near abortion clinics where the Democrats are harvesting the organs of the innocent. And somehow the Trump people and Pam Bondi and you got the FBI, you got the Justice Department, do something. Arrest somebody, for God's sake. And I understand that completely. I really do. Now let's get back to the big lie that is Jake Tapper. His nickname is Big Lie. I think in college his frat name was Big Lie. It was Jake Big Lie Tapper back in college. And was that? Yeah, BLT, Big Lie Tapper. Yeah, BLT's got Jake BLT, Big Lie Tapper. Isn't that amazing? Just great stuff. Now, one of the things that, and this is in the audio I want to play for you now. Jake Tapper being asked questions by the wonderful Megyn Kelly, the great Megyn Kelly, and one of the things that, I found Jake Tapper. He found out Hunter Biden was in charge of everything at the White House, but he just found out now, and he just found out that Joe Biden has prostate cancer, and now they're saying, what was it? 2014 was the last time that his blood test bothered to look at the PSA test, normal for men of a certain age, the prostate-specific antigen, which indicates there might be trouble with your prostate, which is not terribly uncommon in grown men. And they haven't tested him in more than a decade, even though, interestingly enough, it fits perfectly with Ezekiel Emanuel, the famous cancer doctor, oncologist, who said he thinks that Joe Biden may have had this prostate cancer for a decade. And then the next day they come out and say, he hasn't had the prostate-specific antigen tested in 11 years. Isn't that a coincidence? Kind of like Hunter Biden getting a pardon for 11 years, not for 10 years, but for 11 years. And the New York Times says, well, there's nothing to see. Well, of course, everybody gets a pardon for 11 years. Doesn't that make perfect sense? I'm guessing that the Biden family and their team of crooked lawyers knew that 11 years ago going to be real trouble for them. So they made sure that the pardon went back 11 years and not just 10 years. But Jake Tapper said, gosh, we just learned that Hunter Biden was in charge of everything. And Hunter Biden was boinking his brother's widow and got her addicted to crack. And he just learned that. Well, I told you that, I think a year ago or more than a year ago. I told you that. But Jake Tapper doesn't listen to my show, so he has no idea what's going on in the world. These guys. All right, let's go where we left off after number 4, and we're going to number 5 now. Fake Tapper. Not a truth seeker, not a truth teller, a former Democrat Capitol Hill staffer, a Democrat frontman, not a journalist at all. Megyn Kelly sitting down with Fake Tapper.
You covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity.
No, he
hardly
didn't.
At all.
Not aggressively.
I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seemed to be running cover for the president. You didn't seem interested.
I don't think that's true. Well, you're not actually sitting in judgment of you in this particular instance. Everyone else is. You know, it's your job to sit in judgment of everyone else. Now, it's everyone else's job to sit in judgment of you. You are not a truth teller. You're not a truth seeker. You're not a legitimate journalist. You're a Democrat Party frontman. Everybody knows it. And Megyn Kelly having none of it.
There was an attempted cover-up. It could only ever work if you allowed it, if the press allowed it. Some of us tried not to, and some of us were complicit.
The Biden White House did not like me.
Okay, I do not have great connections with the Biden White House.
Bourgeois. You have a lot of sources. You say you talked to over 200 sources for this book.
This
So
was
you have
after the
some you
election.
could have called and worked.
No, that's the point, is that they were not being honest.
They were
That's
not
the point.
The Wall Street Journal did it in June of 2024, and Jake Tapper and CNN couldn't find sources for this story then before he dropped out.
How did I have it? I was not working in the White House. I used to have a White House badge many years ago for a number of years, but I was not. And I'm just drinking beer and spitballing with people in town. I'm watching the news. I have access to Al Gore's amazing internet. I knew what was going on with Joe Biden, but Jake Tapper in the CNN newsroom in Washington D.C. in a studio with a bank of cameras and teams of producers who he doubtless abuses and belittles just based on his behavior. I couldn't know. They weren't telling the truth. So you're all the anonymous sources all over town with your secret unnamed source who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the topic. And those are the ones lying to everybody? No, you're all lying together. It's a circle fest in a hot tub. And Jake, you're one of the lead liars. It continued.
You allowed the Democrat to rip on the report as a Rupert Murdoch sponsored hit piece.
No.
It's just
Megan,
that's
Megan,
what happened.
if we're going to do this, let's just stick to the facts here, okay? When there is a damaging
Jake,
report,
that's what I've been doing all along.
Right.
One of us
what you just said.
didn't miss the biggest story of the century when it comes to presidential politics.
Yeah.
And one of us did.
Yeah, and she's not in Washington, and she's not going to the White House every day, and she doesn't have an entire network of, a White House correspondent for the Megyn Kelly Show and the Capitol Hill correspondents from the Megyn Kelly Show and editorial meetings and conference calls. She doesn't have all the resources that CNN has, and she knew it, and I knew it. Michael Piercy knew it. Jasmine knew it, but Jake Tapper is claiming he didn't know this, and they were lying to us. Well, it's your job to cut through that and report the truth and to report that they're lying to you. And I've been reporting from here that they are lying about these things and that what I know to be true is not what they're saying because I tell the truth and Jake Tapper has no interest in that. And then Jake Tapper pathetically and sadly on with Megyn Kelly, who is identified by the left-wing radical lying Sacagaweas at the CNN and elsewhere as saying, that conservative media who were, and I would score myself that way, conservative media, saying, they called us all kinds of terrible names and slandered us and maligned us. We should have a class action lawsuit and sue them for like $500 million. We should just find the lies that they told about me and people like me, people who are telling the truth. And these megacorps should be sued for $500 million. Remember when the young man from Covington Catholic who was in for the March for Life, Nick Sandman, came to Washington. They slandered him and maligned him and misrepresented him. And he sued them. And I hope he got hundreds of millions of dollars from these charlatans, from these frauds. It's not just the Reverend Al charlatan. Jake Tapper is a charlatan too. But listen to this pathetic admission. This is just sad. His mother should disown him after this one.
Alex and I are here to say that conservative media was right and conservative media was correct, and that there should be a lot of soul searching, not just among me, but among the legacy media to begin with, all of us, for how this was covered or not covered sufficiently. 100%.
100%.
So
too late.
I mean, I'm not here to defend coverage that I've already acknowledged. I wish I could do differently.
This is like cheating on your wife for 8 years and then saying, I'm so sorry, but now I feel bad. And I wish I had with like underage boys. And but you got to forgive me because now I feel bad about it. I should have known better. I've been lying and cheating and feeding you a lot of bourgeois. And Alex Thompson is the guy he's referring to, who I read yesterday, is the guy who actually wrote the book and couldn't get a publisher and brought Jake Tapper in to get publicity, to get a publisher, and then to get publicity. There ought to be a lot of soul searching. Well, first you have to have a soul, which I think you've demonstrated may be lacking. And And conservative media was right. They were right all along. They were ahead of us. But again, I don't have a White House pass. I don't have a team of producers and people covering all the various beats for me. I'm just me and Michael Helps. And I got friends in town, and I talk to friends, but I know what's going on. And I learned how to cover this town a long time ago. And here's one of the things that I learned when I was a small child. Some people lie all the time, and we call them Democrats. And Jake Tapper is a Democrat. Therefore, Jake Tapper lies all the time. See how that works? Just amazing. And then Jake Tapper went on with Katie Couric. Remember Katie Couric? She used to be an anchor woman on CBS News for a period of time. And she was on CNN before that, I think. And so Jake Tapper just selling this book. No, nobody should ever buy this book. Don't buy the book. The book should be banned. It shouldn't really be banned, but nobody should buy it. That'd be the just desserts here. Jake Tapper on with Katie Couric, who's just smiling up a storm, and there are dimples in the cheeks, and you can see every tooth in her head, and she batting her eyes like a schoolgirl. And, oh, Jake, it's so nice to be sitting down with you. And then revealing things that I told you here in real time, that the entire vast apparatus of the Democrat news media concealed from the American public for years on end. But you heard it all here. And I'm not going to say it was exclusive to me, but I reported a lot of it first. And certainly I was talking about it, and I make it more interesting and more entertaining, too. But here's Katie Couric, still out there, and talking to fake Tapper.
How big a factor was the Hunter stuff?
I think it was considerable. I think Hunter was driving the decision making for the family in a way that people. He was almost like a chief of staff of the family.
Does that strike you as pretty bizarre?
It's bizarre because I think he is provably, demonstrably unethical, sleazy, and prone to horrible decisions. I mean,
tell me how you really feel.
Oh, such a good line. So original, so clever. So wait a minute. He was driving the decision-making for the family of the president of the United States and the leader of the free world, the crackhead, stripper, knocker-upper, paternity-denying, kicked out of the Navy for repeated cocaine use, FARA violating, no-show job in Ukraine for $1 million a year, smoking crack with Marion Barry, Hunter Biden. Is that the Hunter Biden we're talking about, who's driving the decisions for the first family of the United States of America? And it's, isn't it? And we're just laughing it off. Hey, how about whose cocaine was it in the White House? Another thing that one of our brilliant listeners asked, and just amazing stuff. Aren't they something? Boy, I'm telling you, you're a Democrat party. And I've got more with Katie Couric. Yeah, so wait a minute. He just learned now that Hunter Biden was driving the decision-making for the family of the president of the United States, this useless crackhead. And now we're hearing it? Not just now? There's more coming up on that, too. You know that the all-new third-generation Eden Pure Thunderstorm is finally here, the wonderful air purifier. It builds on the incredible success of previous generations, and those models earned thousands of five-star reviews on Al Gore's Amazing Internet, became a bestseller in no time at all. This new Thunderstorm uses two technologies.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, raindrops keep falling on my head. That doesn't mean my eyes are too big for my head. Da 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. Last call. I got things I got to do, especially before it starts pouring rain. I've already gone for 2 walks. I'd go up. I had the worst breakfast at Jumbo's this morning. I got mad at them, fucking shit, and trying to serve me. Yeah. Ever return a meal? I did this morning. Wow. There you go, Tiffany. You need validation from all these guys out here. You guys think it bothers me when you say, oh, Billy wants JC. You're in love with JC, Billy. I got all over Charlie because I'm sick of it. You know, it's harassment. I don't harass you fuckers. JC thinks I'm jealous. What a fucking idiot you are, bitch. Ain't nobody jealous of you. Who the fuck would be jealous of JC? Monica, oh, it's good to be Billy free. Oh, Whipper, you don't do anything to me. I told Billy that. So, Monica, you supporting an American-hating motherfucker from Europe, pretty much, you stupid fucking fat bitch. What the hell is wrong with you, Donnie? Like, I want to hear you guys fucking talk about you guys having sex with each other. Monica's never even had a baby. Trying to get Medicaid to fucking pay for her prescriptions because she's in bad health. But yet she's bragging about all the money she's got. A house, I got a house and a truck. And there he is. Yeah, there's Shannon's fucking people right there. Well, I'm leaving. I got something. I have something I have to do here in a little bit. So I got to leave. Take a couple more puffs and then I'm on my way. You remember the skit that Rush Limbaugh used to do of Obama? Is Puff the Magic Negro. Fucking funny as hell. So Joe Biden's had fucking prostate cancer for at least 10 years. Don't need to be a doctor to look at somebody to see that something might be wrong. Why are you sucking on my dick, Andy? I thought you liked women. Ain't no women here. Why are you in my chat, Andy? Let me take my glasses off so I can read your comment. No. Get a life, Andy. Will you please? All right. Go to JC's, go to Acid Trips, whatever. Go to Shannon's. No. Why you even come into my chat? You know, I just got my haircut. You're just trying to start a conversation. You're a fucking moron, Andy. You didn't make it. Remember when you come in here, you thought you were going to sit up on my panel, plop your ass up here, thinking that thinking you're trolling me. You and LD. What a bunch of dumb fucks. You like my handles I got made? Hey. You know what? Your jinx touch hole too there, Andy. Fucking touch hole motherfucker. Go fucking play, Andy. I don't want to see your dumb ass. Go brag that I just timed you out. I ain't going to be long anyways. What? 11:27. Someone is actually taking me to lunch today. I'm going to lunch. They're supposed to be here at 12 to pick me up. So I got to go here pretty soon. I figured I'd give my fans 10 minutes. Or non-fans, whatever the case might be. How ironic is it? You know, Angie saying, "Oh, haters! Oh, let them hate! Oh, haters! No, just because I don't like your style doesn't mean I hate you, Tiffany. Has nothing to do with hating you. You're a suck fuck, and your husband's a fucking queer." When have I ever lied? When have I ever lied? Oh, you lied about me, bitch. Now look at you. Come here wanting to know if I had the fucking audio and video of when Rain come here crying. Actually, Daughter of Truth was the one that made her cry. You gotta love Alicia. You know? I mean, she had to ask JC for a wrench because of me. Wigan knows I wasn't lying when I said that about Guitar J. Well, you gotta make this about you, Billy. Well, I wasn't really making it about me. I was making it about Guitar J and fucking JC. I was prepared to be put backstage if something happened. It didn't take much. I don't even have to fucking start anything. I didn't attack JC. No. So she still wants to play that game. Now you got Queen T Royal out here. Okay. I seen your comments. I was looking at Vegas, Queen T. You fucking were kissing their ass. They came here first and you were fucking kissing up to Rain's ass when she was live. And then JT, and now look at you, Queen T. You're such a fucking wad. Just a fucking old rag that nobody wants. Tammy Holt. I've always voted Republican. Can't name one Republican she voted for. She certainly didn't vote for Trump. You're a turncoat, Andy. You got your head wedged up fucking Acid Drip's ass and Spalding's ass and Shannon's ass and all them fuckers over there at Shannon's chat. I don't even bother. I guess you don't want to come up on my panel, do you, Andy? Afraid I might grab you right by the scruff of the neck and the back of the pants and fucking head first right out the door. Fucking throw you right the fuck out. Bye, DA. Come up, call me fat. Bring your friend Logical with you. Bring that stupid fucker up here. You guys ain't got no debate. Logical out there, or Dwayne out there wanting to debate Whippermano and Dutchy and all them stupid fuckers overseas, like what they say matters. DA is nothing but a Monday morning quarterback. That's all he is. No? All right. Well, I'll be back at 6 o'clock, if not sooner. Gotta go.